your drive to own a business propelled you to found a company in barely less than 2 years after coming to Canada. What does Canada contribute to this drive that Nigeria did not?
Security for me. That's it. Security for me. I was living in Port Harcourt before I left, right? I had a wedding in Port Harcourt, and the soldiers were more than the people that attended the wedding. The budget for the soldiers was almost the same thing with the budget for the food. I have an office somewhere in Port Harcourt, and my neighbor, he has an office too. He was kidnapped, right? And that was the last straw for me. I'm like, no. It was very, very personal for me. It was more about security. It was never economic. I told you I came here with a lot of money. It was never economic. Anyone who leaves Nigeria for economics will still be poor here. Stand up.
When did you have that light bulb moment that said, I think this is where I want to go to. I know I want to be an entrepreneur, but I think this is my specific direction that I want to go into.
So the goal was always to own a business. So everything that I was doing, I was looking for a business inside of it. The most profitable business right now in Alberta is construction. Canada is not as picking money on the floor. You got to be selling a product and you will see money. You got to be selling a service and you will see money. Likewise, Nigeria.
If you're a lizard here, you cannot be an alligator anywhere else. If you have lizard mentality. If you have you had alligator mentality, so that's why anywhere you went to, you would have, even if you went to Timbuktu or you went to Afghanistan, you would have been doing cruises for them there at the palace.
Go ahead, Shegun.
Yeah, so for you, Ayo, what's I'm sure, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sure, like I think you said it earlier that I don't think you ever thought of doing trades or going into this furniture business or building or construction in Nigeria. It never crossed your mind. So what did you see? When did you have that light bulb moment that said, I think this is where I want to go to. I know I want to be an entrepreneur, but I think this is my specific direction that I want to go into. What happened? Was there an experience? Did you see someone? Was it something? Did you wake up one day?
Bro, this is just the beginning. It is all I know is I want to own a business. So this is just the beginning. So I started family contracting to do high-end kitchens, high-end closets. I've moved into home construction, basement development. I've moved into renovations. We're bidding for schools, school buildings. We're bidding for those. Like, we're at that point. Like, we're creating something here, and something would start that off. So, like I told you, I've tried to buy 3 businesses before I arrived at, okay, I think I'm going to start mine. So the goal was always to own a business. That was my own. You get my point? So everything that I was doing, I was looking for a business inside of it. Every time. Every time. I was always looking for a business inside of it. Like, what can I coin out from this huge operation to be my own niche and start my own business, or buy this business that is existing if they are willing to sell? What is the profit margin like? And in all honesty, Busu can tell you the most profitable business right now in Alberta is construction. It used to be oil and gas, but that went this way. Hopefully it goes this way now. But after that, the next industry that the barrier to entry, you can enter it in any level.
I like your drive. I like your drive, and I like when you said, when you come, the mistake many immigrants, Nigerian or African immigrants, make to be comfortable. Once they carried away with comfort, 24/7 power, good roads, quiet neighborhoods, blah blah blah. Once they get comfortable, it is so easy for them to be sucked into the system that they now forget dreams and goals. But you look like somebody who was laser focused before coming. And that is a very beautiful and amazing thing to hear, that you knew who you were and you left Nigeria and you said, I would leave and change zip codes, but I would not let the zip code change my drive or change my goal, and I will not settle for less. So woodwork, trades, carpentry, like you answered my question, it's just an aspect of it. The bigger picture own. The bigger picture is to create. The bigger picture is to employ, empower.
Part of the building block.
Building blocks, yes.
Right.
So this was just an avenue. So I see a bigger conglomerate, if there's a word that suits this this goal, and that is very interesting. And I'm sure that there are many people who would watch this and it probably spur them. Maybe some people had these big dreams, and as in Canada, the system overwhelmed them, and maybe their dreams were not as, and their passions and drive wasn't as strong as the things around overwhelming them, and those things grounded. So that's very, very, very interesting. And the question I would have, do you have a question to ask?
Yes.
Or before you ask, let me
Okay, go ahead.
yeah, so the question I was going to ask is so when people come, you're saying that they have to pay their dues, have to learn the trade or learn the craft, and then they have to decide and choose to pursue that goal that they have, and not be discouraged and not just give up easily after 2 or 3 days. But I don't think everybody is cut out for this. Some people may not be cut out for entrepreneurship, and they should know that and accept it. Nobody should look at this now and say, Ayo has done this, let me now go into it. If it is not in you, it is not in you. Like say in Nigerian parlance, if you know day, it didn't day. Something like that. So,
Yeah.
Diego, let me add to that, right? The reality is, if you want to be an employee in the trades as well, it is welcome. We're all just talking about the aspect of owning, because that's where I am at. I have Nigerians that are employees as well, that are just working in the business. They are not ownership, and they're comfortable as well. You would earn as much as anybody in any industry, in any field.
Usui, you have a question?
That was kind of where my question was going to go through, in terms of, have you now been able to, you've been in the business, and have you now been able to inspire a couple of Nigerians to, because of this, want to go and learn trades? And have you had the opportunity of working with some of them? And why I say so is this: some of how it is when a lot of us back home in Nigeria, we worked with artisans, because in Nigeria we call them artisans, or for a better word, Yoruba will say oníṣẹ́ ọwọ́,
Right.
handwork. And we know a lot of them, they're antics, in terms of some of the antics they put on and everything. And unfortunately, it's not their fault. So it's the fault of the economy and the society that that puts up a lot of that. But now, you inspiring Nigerians, working with Nigerians who you've inspired to come into the trades and everything, and working with some of them. How is it like? How has it been so far in terms of their work ethics? Are they very, very fantastic people to work with? Are they very professional in their roles, what they do? Are there people you've met who have tried to cut corners and who have tried to be smart? You know what I mean? For example, the code says 4 centimeters to 6 centimeters. You're allowed to use 4 centimeters, you're allowed to use 6 centimeters. The person is trying to be smart, he's trying to use 3.8. They might check, they might not check. The inspector might not check.
Check.
I'm just saying, the inspector might not check. So 3.8 to 0.2 doesn't change anything. Have you met people like that, and how do you deal?
So this is not a and I'm talking from my own personal experience, right? The other people can talk from their own personal experience. This is not a Nigerian thing. It's a people thing. You know, you are disciplined. You're disciplined. You're not disciplined. You're not disciplined. I've worked with trades in every like from Caucasians to East Asians to Africans to specifically Nigerians, right? So it's a little bit difficult for Africans, and I'll tell you why. You don't have enough information. That's why research is very important. That's why I said when you pay your dues, you have to do more to get not necessarily equal results. This guy has been in this space all his life. Probably his dad or his uncle or someone in his family did the same thing. So he knows these things. Even though the codes are changing, there are some that are standard. So you are coming in, you don't know, you are learning. So in order for you to outperform him, you need to give yourself, commit to that learning process. I'm currently mentoring in Nigeria right now, and all I tell him is money is a reward for your effort. Please don't, you right now you live in a free house. That's all that matters. Don't let money be the focus. Let the amount of knowledge you can get be the focus, and the money will start pouring in like you on some ish. And you know, and he's listening, he's doing that, and he's seeing the result because people will call you when they know you know these things. So it's a huge problem, not just it's amongst the trades. We have something that we say, like, if I work with you the first time and you can't give me a reason to call you again, then there's a problem. You know, that means like this why do they have all these? It's not for lack of cutting corners. It's just because there is law against it, is why these people stay in check. You get my point? So these guys want to do the same thing any truck driver, plumber, or carpenter in Nigeria wants to do too. But there's somebody that you can report them to. There's somebody that is going to take that license that they work so hard to get away from them. There's somebody that is going to, if they will take your money and they run away, there's someone who's going to check them, lock them up, or something of that nature. So all of these checks and balances is what enables them straight. It's not because they are straight. Oh, I tell you that real. Like, it's not because they are straight. I just told you about issues where I had to run intervention for multiple people. They take their money, they run away. They don't do the job. So it's the same everywhere. It's just the fact that there are checks and balances on this part of the world to put everybody on in check. That's it.
Ayo, deep. So your drive to own a business propelled you to found a company in barely less than 2 years after coming to Canada. What does Canada contribute to this drive that Nigeria did not, does not, cannot?
So this is a very interesting question, and you know, every time I tell myself, like, why did I leave Nigeria? Why do people leave Nigeria and still get here and still get lost? Because every time, while I've been a serial entrepreneur all my life, I founded multiple companies in Nigeria even before. So, and I tell people, like, every time the only excuse most people have in Nigeria is lack of access to capital, lack of infrastructure. I don't have light to build this electric car that I want to build, or I don't have this. Okay, now you are in this space that everything, and I will tell you, Nigerians are doing phenomenal, like, great things in this space, in career, in entrepreneurship. I'll tell you, and that's where I'm headed. There are other Nigerians that I am looking up to as well. So what I think Nigeria contributes or does not contribute or cannot contribute to me to be where I'm at right now I think it is less than people think. I'll tell you, I just had a conversation with my uncle, and his response is, I'll take your business to Lekki. So tell me, what exactly are we missing? It's just the lack of opportunity. We don't recognize it. It is there. If you say lack of capital, I understand that people are from different backgrounds. I don't have money, I don't have generator. Those are the basic things, right? And some people still make it work, even without all that. There's no light, there's no, I don't even sleep well, I don't eat well. How can I create? How can I think? Yes, those would help you. But when you're here, you can't sleep. You got bills. Have they told you? Shegun, it's the same thing. It's just different thing that is keeping you up here. And it's different thing that is keeping you up in Nigeria. Maybe mosquitoes are keeping you up in Nigeria. Seriously. But bills will keep you up here.
Ayo, so what's that? So what is that thing? So what's that one thing that made you leave? If you are saying they're just two different. What's that one?
Security for me. That's it. Security for me, because it got to a level that I had a wedding. I was living in Port Harcourt before I left, right? I had a wedding in Port Harcourt, and the soldiers were more than the people that attended the wedding. So it was getting crazy. The budget for the soldiers was almost the same thing with the budget for the food. So for me, it was mainly security. I have an office somewhere in Port Harcourt, and my neighbor, he has an office too. He was kidnapped, right? And that was the last straw for me. I'm like, no. If my neighbor in the next office got kidnapped, like, I still have family there. I still have my buddies there that are still running huge businesses and all that, right? But for me, my wife graduated school, cum laude from university in Scotland, got to Nigeria. She couldn't get a job because she's the type. She wanted a job. She went to school just to solve a problem, like to solve a Nigerian problem. Like there's so much oil spills, to clean this oil spill up. She did some safety course, and she couldn't get a job, and she was getting offers from every part of the world, and so this way, it was very, very personal for me. It was more about security. It was never economics. It was never, I told you I came here with a lot of money. It was never economics. And most people who leave, is, if you deep down, anyone who leaves Nigeria for economics will still be poor here. Standard.
Wow.
I'm telling you, if you leave Nigeria for economics, you will still be poor in Canada. Because Canada is not as picking money on the floor. You got to be selling a product and you will see money. You got to be selling a service and you will see money. Likewise, Nigeria. You have a product, you have a service. Go look at some lady that is selling a gown for $1 million, right? I'll be 1 million naira. Who knew? Boys are sewing Agbada for 300,000. They have showrooms in Lekki, have showrooms in Ikoyi, and these boys were not like that before. So if it's the economics, it's the same economics problem, you have it here too. It doesn't change.
Well, on that, okay, Busui,
sorry. Yeah. I wanted to ask last question and my last question, because I had this question in mind. Now, for a Nigerian who is in Nigeria right now, you have plans. I want to relocate. I want to move to Canada. I'm looking at what field I can go into, what line of field I can go into. So a Nigerian right now who is in Nigeria, who you might be even a graduate, but you have the knowledge of trades, because I've met Nigerians like that, even in Nigeria. I've met guys who are so good in terms of carpentry, who are so good in terms of
can they read?
Electrician, plumbing.
Can they read?
Yes. They are
talking. No. Read on the level of university level reading.
Yes,
if
they are those that are willing to.
When they give you the code book, have you seen it before?
No, I haven't.
It's as big as a dictionary. So you are coming in. You want to go you want to challenge that test, you're already here. Let's even put an age. The guy is 25. He's coming in fresh out of university or whatever the case. If he knows carpentry, there's no value. If he knows plumbing, there's no value. I'm telling you reality here. All those trades that everybody would say, if you know one trade in Nigeria is good for you. What it does for you is just reduces the amount of time you need to learn it here. Why do people do DIY here or DIY or whatever it's called? Because it's easy to learn this skill. I don't want to do this skill. I'm just a business owner. This skill is so easy to learn. And people pay you a lot for a skill that is quite easy to learn. That's why you have to be dynamic. You have to be creative in using this skill. To frame a house is just carry lumber, stand it up, do a box. That is, but there are things that you need to learn. And that's why I asked, can you read? There are codes that are written. The lumber has to be 24 inches on center. It has to be 90 degrees at this angle. If you want to form an angle here, you have to cut it at 45, cut it at 45, cut it at 22.5, cut it at 22 point. Those are things that you might not even get to learn on the job until it happens to you. You get my point? Like, you guys, you might be working with someone 5 years and that situation never occurred. So when it now occurs, you are by yourself, you are now the Oga, and you don't know what to do. So it's evolving. You got to constantly reinvent yourself. So everything you think you know, and it's not the same thing, no. All those pipes that they use in Nigeria, all those metal pipes, it's not the same thing, no. Every here is so easy. You don't even. I do plumbing, I do electrical, but I don't want to do them. I don't have the certificate to do electrical, but I can do the domestic one in my house. But I have the certificate to build cabinets. Imagine giving someone a certificate to build cabinets. Well, you would think, like, why does he have a certificate? How hard can it be to build cabinet? But have you seen the things that I build?
Finishing. That's where we have a problem. We have started. Finishing is the problem.
Did you know that a cabinet person is going to tell you the nature of the wood, the type of tree that was used in constituting the wood? They teach them all these things.
Detail.
Right.
Detail.
So it's not just, you can just carry hammer. We don't even use hammer. I have an hammer in my toolbox. I've not used it before.
Nail gun.
Yeah. Like, how do you want to know? You're a carpenter from Nigeria. How would you know how to use a nail gun, for God's sake? And the same amount of time it takes. That's why I say that skill that you have in Nigeria that made you identify that trades is the one. That's the one. It's that same skill that you need, not the trade skill. The skill that helped you identify that trade is the one that you should be in, because it's a particular kind of skill that helped you discover or realize that trades in Canada is progressing. You must have some analytical skill to be able to know that. You must have done some level of research to be able to know that. You must have done quite a number of reading to be able to tell that. And you must have actually seen what the trades look like. So when you put all those skills together, you don't need the skill to nail hammer. You learn that here. In short term, they have short courses. I didn't go for any. Because to me, course is waste of time. It's too structured. I'll apply to the job to do the thing. And the guy will ask me multiple questions. I would have read back to back, watch YouTube videos like 1 billion. I'll give you an instance. Sorry, Shegun, this one I got to tell you. I'll give you an instance. When these guys go to do all this cyber security and business analysis, these guys have never done these things before. But they dive into an 8 weeks course. They do, and the guy teaches them how to pass interviews. Why don't they bring that kind of energy into trades? We'll be running this country. So that's why we're running the IT sector too. Because we put in a lot of effort. We are running it. I tell you, it's either Indians or Nigerians in IT. But we don't bring that same energy to trades. If we do, I won't even have a job, because there are Nigerians that are mad, oh. I'm telling you, because they are mad, oh. So that's all I will say, right?
Wow. That was informative.
Right.
You have shattered all wooden tables. Let me put it.
I know cabinets.
Broken roofs, and you have scattered it. And I want to thank you so very much for such an insightful session. Me, who is here, what I have learned today has really enriched me, opened my mind, and I'm very sure that many people who would watch this will be very enlightened and enriched. It's one thing for somebody to say stuff. It's another thing for somebody to say stuff and have a track record to show what they are saying. That carries more weight. And you have a track record, and I'm very proud of the work that you do and all Nigerians do all over the world. And if only, like you already said, if only our country was much better, we'll be having many bright minds and eggheads transforming the country today. Someone said that if we have 24/7 power, it will come back. Emeka said so. You said security is the only thing that will make you, and I would have made you stay back. I know. And this
we can solve power by ourselves now. Security, like if they kidnap you, what's the solution to that? Tell me.
If they kidnap you during the day or at night, power will not help you. They're right.
I will tell you. So, like, you know, they're part of Canada that don't have power too. They don't even have internet. You know, and those are the parts that I want to start doing projects now.
Maybe they do a lot of I don't know. Just saying.
Maybe the reserves.
No. There are parts in the Northwest Territory that we supply fuel to. Fuel is a consumable to them because that's how they generate power. It's generators.
Okay.
The whole community is powered by generator. Like ATCO puts a generator in the community and fuels it. And they put tenders. They send tenders out. Go and do this. Go and you bid for the tender. Those are the regions that is like there's so much to be like. Just create an avenue for yourself, and you would be shocked. And you can do this in any part of the world. It does not matter whether Nigeria, whether Lagos, because I was doing the same thing.
That's very valid points. Very valid points.
I was doing the same thing in Nigeria.
Very valid points. You cannot, if you're a lizard here, you cannot be an alligator anywhere else. If you have lizard mentality, if you have you had alligator mentality, so that's why anywhere you went to, you would have, even if you went to Timbuktu or you went to Afghanistan, you would have been doing cruises for them there at the palace.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
So thank you so much, Ayo, for your time. Thank you for squeezing out time. And me waking up, staying up late. It's what's time now? It's 3:20 a.m.
We appreciate you too. We appreciate you too. We appreciate you.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.